Hello everybody and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is No Category Left Behind. I am filling in for Nukes today, but we do have a great show lined up for you. It is Forbidden Memories, Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. Before we get into that, just a few quick reminders. AGDQ 2023 Online will be January 8th to 15th. The second submission period for games released after September 1st is open now until the 12th. You can visit gamesdonequick.com for more information on that. As well, if you want to follow what Games Done Quick is up to, you can use exclamation links in Twitch chat for all things GDQ. With that being said, I will hand it over to the commentary and they can explain a little bit more about what's going on today.
Well, hello. My name is TRG Vash, but you guys can just call me Vash. And today I'll be commentating with my fellow Brazilian runners Asura and Fel. And as for the runners that will be running this lovely race, it will be Kanitz and Nexin, both of which they faced each other for the winter finals. There's a tournament going on in Brazil, organized by the Speedruns Brazil. You can check the VODs of the matches there, twitch.tv/Speedruns Brazil. And I hope we can have a great showing of this lovely game and this lovely category, which is the 15 card drop.
Hi there, I am the Azura, and I will be commentating here with Fel and Vash. As he said, they are the lovely game that we love, and it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, and they will be playing, and it's not the common one. Here we're gonna have the 15 card drops, so instead of dropping one card each battle, they will be having 15 cards every battle. The game will be more faster and more fun to have a speedrun.
Hello everyone, I'm Fel. I'm also here for the commentary about the race. And yeah, this will be a very interesting match because they had this match last weekend, I think. And for the finals for the winners bracket on the tournament. And Nexin won there. So today maybe Kanitz can win again. we don't know, it will be very interesting.
And by the way, I would love to note that the finals will be happening Monday, 14th at 9 p.m. Brazilian time. So you guys can do a little Google, convert the time zones, and you guys will find. Or you guys can check the VOD. It's one of the options. But yeah, it's basically a do-over of the winner finals, this showcase race that we'll be showing.
On the tournament that they are playing, there was a winner brackets and losers brackets. So the final for the winner brackets was Kanitz and Nexin, and Nexin was the winner. So he's in the final. Then Kanitz and Tug were playing for the losers brackets yesterday, and Tug was the winner. Then day 14, we're going to have the final. So Nexin and Tug will be playing the final.
And I guess with that's all we have to say. I think we can start the race already. And I'll be going. I'll start the countdown. I believe both runners are ready. So let's go. 5, 4, 3.
The ladder.
The ladder
for the
oh,
name.
the ladder. Right. I totally forgot about that. It can be W
G?
for
okay,
winners.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, nice
Okay, letter W. Okay, guys. So I'll start the countdown again. Sorry for the little mishap. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
On the start of the game, they need to put some letter. So we normally say one letter to they can put the same letter, and the stream can show up with the W. So they both put the letter, so the start is coming.
Yeah, that's just a little countermeasure because to avoid movies and pre-recorded stuff. So we decided on the tournament to have this rule to mitigate and to make difficult for the runners to try to cheat in any kind of way. So can you any of you guys, Asura or Fel, describe what is the beginning of the race, what it's like, what's the difference between the 15 card drop and the vanilla?
Yeah, for the 15 card mod is a mod for the game, and the difference from vanilla is just the drops after each duel. Instead of winning just one card, you win 50. So the game has a much more quickly pace this way. There is very in PvP attempts very little farming. In races we don't know. We'll see depending on the drops. Sometimes the game is general, sometimes it isn't. Yeah. So we'll see.
It would be safe to say that it's a more dynamic approach to the game, right? 15 card drops.
That's true.
It's more dynamic. It's less grindy. I don't know how familiar the chat was with the run or the game itself. There was a video talking about the lore of the speedrun of this game for the vanilla. But in 15 card drop, there's some strategies, especially for the race setting, that the runners will be doing. For instance, some runners don't check the initial deck, some runners do check the initial deck, because, since there will be a little bit more of farming, just for safety for the race, for the setting, the starter deck is not really that important compared to the vanilla. In vanilla, you have to have a Geki in an equipment for the THTD. And what is a THTD, I ask, Azura?
So THTD is the twin-headed thunder dragon. It's the most powerful monster and easily you can make. So in this game, it's not like the normal Yu-Gi-Oh that we have in the card game and the new card games like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links or Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. No, this is an old Yu-Gi-Oh! Before the anime came to. So can we watch? So here we don't need the card polymerization to fuse the cards. We just put one and another one and makes another one, and that's easy. They just need to combine and they make another one. So THTD is the twin-headed thunder dragon, and we need thunder and dragon to make it. It's a 800 card, and it has 5 equips that can equip easily that you have in the starter deck. It's Dark Energy, Horn of Light, Dragon Treasure, Beast Fangs, and which is another one? Invigoration. Yes, yeah. Invigoration. So when you start the deck, you search for one of these 5 cards as an equip. 2 you can equip in your THTD. THTD is the most powerful card that you can make easily with dragons and thunders, and you can beat the game most faster with a combinations of equipments and spells and traps. That's the way most faster.
All right. So now there's it's not an obligatory part of the run. The runners don't have to do Abject 1. What is Abject 1? It's the first duels in the game where you can, farm some cards, where the game is easy. The runners are already in the World Tournament, and they're gonna face the first opponent, the first foe, which is Rex. Rex is pretty easy. You don't need much to beat him. Most of the fusions you can do with a starter deck can deal with what he has to bring to the table. So 900 attack points are enough usually to dominate the board, but sometimes Rex can set a clown zombie, which is 1350, I think, attack points. And basically this beginning part of the run is where the runners maybe decide to do an extra farm or not, based on how the decks went, how the initial deck was set up. If it had, if they got a good number of dragons and thunders, and I couldn't pinpoint exactly how many thunders and dragons the runners already have on any of you guys being doing the count.
I think Kanits have one thunder, but I couldn't see the rest.
All right.
We know that Nexin has high Raigeki, so it's a powerful magic that we have. We have 50% of chance to get Raigeki and 50% of chance to get Dark Hole on initial deck. So Raigeki kills all enemies like this, and Dark Hole kill every enemy in the board. So Raigeki is a little bit better on the early and mid game, but in the end game there are some people that likes more Dark Hole, because Dark Hole removes also all spells and traps in the board. So late game we can explain more, but there are some enemies like Heishin and Dark Knight that is a little bit hard to beat.
All right, so let's talk about an important part of the game, which is the grading system at the end of the duels. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Kanits achieved the SA rank. It was S, but we simplify those ranks by calling them SA, BCD, SA Pole, BCD Pole, SA Pole, SA Tech, BCD Tech, and we'll be explaining in more depth. But for now, you guys just need to know that the ranks make a difference in which cards they will be dropping. The 15 cards they each drop in each duel are related to the grade you get at the end of the duel. So, Kanits has been starting to do the farm one, the first section of farm that runners may skip or may not skip. In a race setting, it's basically, if you have a really good deck, you don't need to do it. But if you think you don't have dragons or haven't got an equipment that works on the THD, you can just try to build up this dragon and thunders.
Yeah, they'll probably get 2 or 3 each, so before they continue the campaign. And also some other good cards to substitute for the useless ones, like insects are very bad in this game, fiends also, so...
Yeah,
we have some cards that are better than others, of course, but here we talk about types of cards. So dragons and thunders are the best one, because we can make THD, as we said, but we have another cards that are really useful. So some cards like girls can make Queen of Autumn Leaves like this, and some cards combined can make Flame Cerberus on the right screen that Nexin is using. So we have some cards that are better and some cards that are worse. So like Fel said, water, fiends, insects are the worst cards, so we can just remove them from the deck to put another one, and the deck will be better.
Yeah,
and
Aquas are... sorry.
No, I was just gonna comment on the fact that not necessarily S rank, A rank are the best each time. The runners will be strategizing based on the duelist, because each duelist they face has a drop table, let's say, and some enemies is better to do BCD, and some other enemies are more interesting to achieve the S or A grade.
Yeah, for example, Rex is an interesting one because on the S or A-Paul rank, you can get some big dragons, what we call big dragons, that are dragons with more than 1600 attack, because they can make the PhD with only 2 cards, like a dragon and a thunder, and that's it. But on the BCD rank, he can drop the Beast Fangs with a very low probability, like it's 19 of 2048, so it's very rare. But some runners opt to do the BCD when they don't have equips. But usually they go for the S or A-Paul because it's more likely you get big dragons or just normal dragons, and they are very useful early on.
One thing that dragons can be very useful on the early game, because they can fusion with thunder, but he also fuses with water, plants, robots, rocks. Almost every type of card dragon can be fusioning with, but some cards like warriors can also fusion with every card. But warriors are the worst card because the fusions can be with 1300 attack, 1400 attack. But dragons are almost 2000 attack and 2001 attack. So they are really, really good and really, really precious in the start of the game.
All right, let's see what candidates will be dropping. And by the way, Nexing is already going further in the campaign, right? He just defeated Mai, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, basically for now, Nexing has a slight lead. It's not really that big, but now he has to make some farm, I believe. He did skip, right? Farm 1. Just went.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Okay. So, by the way, we didn't explain fully the DMK, right, to the people. Yeah. We could talk a little bit how DMK works and what are the benefits of farming DMK. By the way, we just did that about the benefits, but what is the interesting thing about the DMK? Can you guys talk about it?
Yeah, the DMK is the Dual Master K. It's the last opponent on the free duel you can play against him, and he has a mirror of your deck. So the better deck, the better his deck, and he can drop some useful cards in the beginning, like Dragons and Thunders, and some other useful fillers like Beasts, Pyro, Females, and so on. And the drops, they won't vary no matter like if we get a late game deck or just the starter deck. It's the same drops, they don't vary, but his cards are the same as yours. So like sometimes you get an initial deck with Dragon Piper. It's a card with very little attack but 1800 defense. Sometimes it's annoying to play against him because he has a very high chance of starting with your strongest card. So if he puts the Dragon Piper in defense mode, you need to get a good fusion fast to be able to beat it.
Right. The chat has asked whoever is in a slight lead. In the beginning, there isn't a much clear line unless one of the runners, end up losing a duel. But the beginning of the run, the time saves, the leads you can get from in front of your opponent is not really that important right now. So they are basically even. What matters more is how the deck, how they've built their deck right now. For instance, Nexing dropped two Thunders right now.
Three Thunders and one Dragon.
Wow, that's a big drop. That's a big drop.
In the beginning of the game, you can farm Rex or DMK. There are two enemies that you can go to farm. So Rex, you can farm dragons like Crawling Dragon 2, and DMK you can farm thunders. So when Nexin wins against the DMK, he got 3 thunders and 1 dragon. It was awesome. Normally he only drops 1, 2 thunders and 1 dragon, but he got 3, so he's a little bit ahead because he goes now to the next enemy, and it's Bandit Keith, while Kenitz is going against Widow, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Weevil can be really annoying because if he uses Forest, his cards can be very strong. Like he got the Jiraigumo. It's a really strong card. To beat it, you need to like make a card on Mars, because this game also has the Guardian Star system. It's like each card can have 2 Guardian Stars. They usually refer to some element, like fire is usually Mars, Pluto is lightning, and so on. So to beat the forest cards, you can make a fire card basically, which is Mars against Jupiter. Otherwise, it's very hard to beat unless you make like a Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon or maybe a Crimson Bird, something like that. But it's very hard to make early on.
It works like a rock, paper, scissors. So Mars beats Jupiter, that beats Saturn, that beats Uranus, that beats Pluto, that beats Neptune, that beats Mars. So it will be a perfect circle that fits every weak and every strong each one.
Yeah. The Guardian Stars are one of the things that clouds most of the new runners and, players as well. When, you played casually on your PlayStation, you would be dumbfounded by how does this system works. So it's basically 2 groups, as Azura said, and it's based on the planets and the disposition on the solar system closely. There's a little bit of change, but it's closely. And yeah, they're representative of some elements or card types. And
it's got Jiraigumo.
Yeah,
you got a
Jiraigumo drop.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
very rare. And it's a strong card to have.
It's good to have, but since it's an insect, it won't do much. It can be useful with some equipments later on.
Yeah,
but
it's useful for the World Tournament. Then later on, it's useless basically, but for the beginning it can help.
but it's pretty hype when you get some of those rare cards.
Yeah.
And by the way, let's talk about the duels itself. There's let's say, how can I put it into words? It's basically, how can you do a fast duel? What is the thing that runners are trying to do to end the duels as quickly as possible?
I think the most important thing is to get a strong fusion on the opening hand, and try to make it without wasting more cards than you need. But it depends on the rank you need to achieve. Like if you need a BCD rank, sometimes you could end the duel faster, but you are making more fusions to be able to get the B rank and wasting more cards. So it depends on the rank that you want to achieve.
Yeah, there are some concepts the runners have to keep in mind in regards to the power level of the cards the enemy has. What are the most common cards? What's the range of attack points they need to build in a fusion to dominate the camp, the board, I mean. And there's this thing that we haven't talked about and that will become crucial later on in the run, which is the magic lock.
Yeah.
So I think that is important. You need to control the board. So when you put 1 card and your enemy has no cards, you are in the control of the board. So if your enemy has at least one monster in attack position or defense, it doesn't matter, and it's in turn, there are no magic locks, so he can make fusions, he can equip monsters, he can do back row, so he can put trap cards, and it's a little bit harder to win against when you lose the control of the board.
Yeah, it can make the duel slower, which is something that the runners definitely won't be accepting, right? They just want to go there as quickly as possible. So when those kinds of unfortunate things happen, and it's troublesome, and sometimes some duelists have a hard mode and an easy mode.
Oh yeah, that's true. Also, about the magic lock, it's especially useful against the enemies that have the Swords of Revealing Light card, because that card can slow the duel a lot. Like it's 2 or 3 minutes lost just when the opponent uses it. And about the easy and hard mode, like later on you have the duel against Seto 3, Seto 3rd. He can start with the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. That we call the hard mode, but it's also like his most common play.
We could bring an example that's more closely to the time frame the runners are at the moment. Right now, Kanitz is facing Bandit Keith, and Bandit Keith, he has one card called Zoa, which is pretty powerful.
Yeah, and very rare for him to play. It's have 2,600 attack, so it's very strong. You need to make a HD to beat it, or use a Raigeki or something to remove it.
Yeah, you need to have some removal, or have a THDD at hand, or
you could do a fake out.
Or if you have some fake out is an option, we can talk about it. By the way, we haven't explained it yet. It can become crucial in some parts of the run. And there's this concept in this game, when you set a card face down, the enemy doesn't know which card it is, right? So when you set a face down card, the enemy may sometimes hesitate to attack. And this gives you room to, make some fusion, cycle more cards from your hand. But there are some enemies that don't fall for the fake out.
Yes, we have some parts in the game. So, of course, in the final part of the game, there are enemies that don't accept fake out. So, if you are putting a monster with least defense than attack of his monster, he will attack, because the enemy will be seeing your cards. All your cards that you put in your board, they will see. But in this mid and early game, they don't know, so you can do the fake out. We have
it's a bit slow.
like four parts in the game. You want to explain it?
No, I was just gonna say the fake out is a strategy. Like, how can I say that? It's a desperation move. You are a little bit cornered, and you need to, not lose the duel. It's a strategy that won't save time, but it will avoid the losing of time. Because if you lose the duel, you have to, get back from your last save, and it can be a bit annoying. So sometimes it's just better to accept that you're gonna get some time loss and salvage the duel with some of those weird, bizarre strategies that can, mitigate some hard modes and powerful cards.
Yeah. Yes. By the way, fake out normally is a slow strategy. So you can swipe all the cards in your hand, like discard your 5 cards in your hand and hope for the best. But you can fake out. Fake out normally will slow your battle, but it works more.
Yeah, there are some enemies that tend to accept more the fake out, that fall for the fake out. Presuming that the duelist falls for a fake out, there are some duelists that has a higher chance of falling for it or not. So sometimes it's okay, I'll do this fake out, it's gonna 80% of the time work, and some others is okay, I have to do this even though it's a low chance, but I have to do it. And now that I believe both runners are at Shadi, so Umi for Nexin, that's pretty good. By the way, since both runners are mostly at the midpoint of the World Tournament, what is one of the things that the runners are praying to get as a drop right now?
From Shadi, it's the Beast Things.
From Shadi is the best things, but from on here on out, there's Bakura also, and there's until they arrive to Pegasus. What are they looking for?
They are trying to get a trap card, because the trap card enables the strategy that they use to make the attack on Pegasus. The attack on Pegasus is one of the main farms in this game, because you can get really good equipments from him. You get the Dragon Treasure, the Bright Castle. Bright Castle is an equip that go on every card. Any card can take it. And the same for the Megamorph, but the Megamorph can equip for 1,000 instead of 500, which is the usual for all the other equips except the Megamorph. So Megamorph is really good. But to do it, they need to do the attack on Pegasus, and to do it, they need the trap card. So that's what they are trying to get right now. If they don't, they will do the BCD rank on Pegasus, which can also drop the Dragon Treasure
and a trap card also, Acid Trap hole.
Yeah. Umis and Thunders also. So it's a really good BCD on Pegasus too. If they don't get the trap card from Pegasus or Isis, they can get it from Kaiba. Kaiba is the mostly likely to drop a trap card, so they can do it later. It's not a big deal, but it's really nice when they can do it on the first duel.
And here, there is the twin-headed Thunder Dragon for Nexin showing up on the board. I believe Nexin is at Pegasus already? Or am I going crazy?
Nexin is against Pegasus, and Kanit's against Bakura.
Bakura, he's just...
Nexin have two enemies ahead, so... And he has not traps, so he's going to do a BCD.
The BCD rank.
And Kanits are hoping for a trap.
And by the way, since we haven't talked about those duelists in specific, the latter part of the World Tournament after Shadi, Bakura, Pegasus, Ishizu, and Kaiba. Let's talk about Bakura since he's at Bakura right now, Kanits. Bakura is the literal wall of the run, right? The first blockage point of the run. I like to say that a lot, because Bakura can set a labyrinth wall, which is 3k defense points, and to beat it, you need a THTD with equipment or a field advantage like Umi or Mountain, or you need some removal. And based if you got Raigeki or not on your initial deck, Bakura can be quite the time loss. He has lots of spells. He has the swords, right? And it can be a tough time loss.
Yeah, it's very tough depending on his cards, and your opening hands can be very frustrating.
Another Umi for Nexin. And
nice.
3 dragons,
no
from
traps.
what I can tell.
We didn't talk
trap
about
cards.
the fields, right?
Sorry?
Yeah.
Could you repeat that?
The fields. We have 2 fields that can be useful on the run. So we have Mountain that can buff the Dragon cards, Beast Wings cards, and we have Yumi that can buff the Thunder and Water cards. Usually, the runners prefer to have Yumi in the deck, because Yumi will buff the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. So, while Mountain can buff Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Black Skull Dragon, Meteoric Dragon, the Yumi only buffs the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. Also, Yumi decrease the Metal Zoa and all the robots cards that can be your enemy. So Yumi is the field card that they are searching for.
And it's got an invisible wire. He will be able to perform the attack on Pegasus, and we can talk about the prerequisites for, because we talked about ranks, grade, how the runners are trying to achieve specific ranks in those duels, B, C, D, S, A. So what exactly does Canadians have to do to achieve an ATAC, and why is the ATAC so important?
Yeah, so the ATAC, they need to do a lot of requirements. There's a lot of strats that you can do to make an ATAC. Basically, you start with a good rank in this game, and depending on what you do during the duel, you start lowering your rank. So you go from S-Pol to A-Pol, Bs, then D-Tech, all the way until S-Tech. The S-Tech or A-Tech are the same drops, so it doesn't matter if you do S-Tech or A-Tech. So we do A-Tech because it's faster to achieve it. And they need to make 15 fusions is one of the requirements. They need to use at least one magic card, one equip card, and one trap card. They need to do 4 effective attacks. That's when they attack the opponent card in attack position, and they destroy it and deal damage to their life points. Mm-hmm. They need to have less than 7,000 life points. Less than three cards on the remaining on the deck, and at least 9 turns need to have passed. So it's a lot. It's a lot for them to keep track.
A lot of numbers to keep track on. Exactly, and it's one of the. How can I say? It's one of the first strategies, one of the first things that people that are learning the run can find a little bit difficult, because how can I do those lots of fusions, like 15 fusions? How do I bait? How do I avoid Pegasus using Raigeki on me? Because it's pretty technical. You have to pay attention to some sort of details and how which monsters Pegasus is setting on the board. What is the most common enemy that Pegasus can set on the board, which is Bikuri Box, 2,300 attack points, and it's one of those things that takes some time and repetition to learn and create a method which you can, feel comfortable at keeping the tally on how many fusions, have I used the magic, have I used the equipment, have I done the 4 effective attacks. It's a bit slow, you guys can see. It's pretty common during the Brazilian tournament, by the way, when the runners are doing the ATAC. A lot of people come in the chat and, hey, why isn't he finishing the duel already? Isn't this a speedrun? Yeah. Isn't he supposed to, win quickly? Why is it taking so long? He has the field open. Why is he not attacking the life points of the enemy? And it's quite the amusing thing from us who are commentating and running also, because during the tournament the runners are allowed to watch chat, take a look at the commentary. It's not that a big of a deal, but it's quite amusing.
Yeah, and Pegasus is also an enemy where the Guardian Star is very important, because as Vash just said, his most common card is the Bikuri Box, and it's a strong card to beat. So, but you can make a lot of fusions with 1800 that can have the Sun, Guardian Star, and Bikuri Box is Moon. So Sun beats Moon, and it's
you can tie the attack points, and with tying you can choose for mutual destruction, or you can just pass your turn and the AI will choose to set the card in defense mode because it's tied.
Or if you open, sometimes you can open with 1800 in Sun, and he will put the Beaker box in defense mode so you can destroy it on the next turn also.
Yeah. And there's another thing. We have talked about hard mode, and what is the hard mode of Pegasus, Asura?
We have some cards and some enemies that have the Can
He
it
failed the
lose
attack.
to Pegasus?
Yeah, he failed the attack, and it was a campaign attack, which is a bit sad. But he saved. It's a time loss, most
Okay.
for the animations. You know, the menuing he has to do right now just to load, blah blah blah. But it's fine, guys. Losing some duels is something that can happen. Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty volatile. It happens a bunch of times. It can happen a bunch of times. So yeah, basically Pegasus has a hard mode, right?
Yes. Pegasus has the Meteor Black Dragon. So it's a card with 3,500 attacks. So in this mode, in the campaign mode, so when you are playing, you are in the start of the game. So you have 4 parts of the game: the Egypt 1, the World Tournament, Egypt 2, and the final game. So it's like the beginning of the game, and you have no cards to deal with it. You only will have the Raigeki and Dark Holes. So if you have not the one of those cards, you already lose. So it's a little hard. There's a slightly chance to into play, and Isis has Black Skull Dragon also with
Black Skull Dragon and
3,000
THDD. Let's not forget about the THDD. It's
Yeah.
it can be a little tough too.
So they have these cards, and it's a little bit harder to win against them if they are not in the easy mode.
Yeah, and when the runners are on the free duel doing the farming, if Pegasus starts with the MBD, usually they just like lose as fast as they can to try.
Yeah, they
again
just
because-
concede, right? They attack the MBD.
It's very hard to recover, and even if you recover, it's usually very slow, so they just try again.
And let's get our bearings right. Kanitz trying again the attack on Pegasus at the campaign, and Nexin is dueling Pegasus again. But did he drop a trap card?
No,
I believe no.
He's doing the BCT,
He's just
so
doing
he can
BCT.
drop Dragon Treasure or Esther Hold, and he got it
Yeah, he just got the card.
on second attempt. So the chances of getting Esther Hold are very good. Like he gets 50 cards, so it's a little bit easier. You just need to try a little of times, and then you get it. And you also got dragons and thunders, and you have a slightly chance to get dragon treasures. So it's worth it.
All right. Let's see if there's something we. By the way, since the runners are doing the attack, let's try to explain a little bit more about the ranking system, since we didn't delve into that a lot. But explaining, well, what does the runner need to achieve BCD? What does he need to do to achieve S, to achieve A? So what's the main thing for those normal ranks, I would say, instead of the attack? The attack we explained, it's pretty cumbersome. But what about BCD and a PAL and
Yeah, for the BCD, the most important thing is like to get 27 cards or less on remaining on our deck. That's the most important thing. But besides just that, it's not enough. Besides that, you can like make 5 fusions and it's enough, or you can use a magic card or one equip card, and like no fusions is enough already. Or you can make 1 fusion and lose some life points, and put a card face down. It's enough also. Or if you lose more than 1,000 life points and less than 27 cards, it's also enough. And to get the S or A power rank, it's basically don't do anything to get the B rank, and you get the SRA.
Yeah, you need to be
Yes.
really efficient in how you do stuff. Like if you use an equipment, end it real quickly. If you're not going to use equipment field, don't overdo fusions or discard cards a lot. Basically that.
AS Paul, basically you need to win faster and don't use too much cards. And this is the side, so
And it's quite
not that hard to do what you want.
And like
and-
when they can make
you can talk. Talk.
okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. When they can make a Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon consistently, they can get a B rank on 3 turns, and to do it, they need to discard 4 cards each turn. So they discard 4 cards to make a Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, then discard 4 on the next turn, and then you get to 27 cards, and then they can win on the next turn. Because with the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, you can, with 3 attacks to the enemy life points, you can beat it.
And regarding this thing about BCD and SAPOW, it's like 2 gears, right? You have to have you have in your mind, and sometimes you're not really focused, and you're in the duel. Wait, do I have to do BCD here? And you're just doing the things for SAPOW. It's sometimes I get a little bit lost on what I'm doing. Like, oh no, I need to do SA, and why am I discarding so much? Why am I doing these fusions? Why am I making a THD with 4 cards?
Yeah, why I made 4 fusions on the first turn.
And by the way, Kenneth is already coming to a close on his ATAC and 8 attempt, and just to cite, this is the efficient, time-wise way to do the ATAC, which is, with trap card, field, equipments, or pure magic, fusions, effective attacks. But there are some other factors you can, factor in when you want to do the ATAC. They are slower, but sometimes you don't have a trap card, and you can, risk it, which is 4 magics. You can, use 4 magics instead of the trap cards set down, but you have to do more fusions, if I recall correctly. And if you have lots of trap cards, you can, substitute some of the fusions or the activations for the trap cards. You can, juggle around those requisites, those numbers to try and get the attack. But the most efficient one is the one that we described: 15 fusions, 4 effective attacks, equipment, trap face down with activation later on, and pure magic.
Yeah, another very common way is also to go for the defensive wins. It's when you put a card face down in defense position and the enemy attacks it and he loses, so your card remains on the field. But they only can do it on enemies that can't see your cards, like Pegasus can see it, so if he will lose, he will never attack your card. So it's...
Pegasus cheats, guys. If you guys don't know about it.
Has the Eye of the Millennium, so it's okay.
Nice,
And
just got the
Kanitz.
attack.
Yes, and now he enters the screen that can put the code, and then with the starships that they won in the end of the battle, they can buy some cards, and the code that they put in the game is the same as the code you have in the real life. So if you have a Yu-Gi-Oh card game, trading card game in your hand, you can put the code and then it appears in the game.
And sorry to interrupt, but
Megamorph.
flash news in, Kenneth dropped a Megamorph, and that's the most appreciated card he could get from this lovely farm session. The Megamorph is the strongest magic card in the game, I dare to say. Equipment, sorry, it's an equipment. It's the strongest equipment in the game. And why is it so?
Yeah, it's the strongest card because it's the only equipment that increases your attack and defense in 1000. All the others are 500. So and it's a lot at the end, because at the end they will be able to make the THD like in turn. Basically, it's very easy to make a THD at the end, and if they make a THD and put a Megamorph on it, they will be able to beat any card except for the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon.
Yeah, the ultimate is quite gnarly beast, and yeah, basically it's that. It's a regular use, general use equipment you can use in everything. So even if you don't have a twin-headed Thunder Dragon, if you have some high cards later on, which we'll be talking about later, some above 2k attack points cards, the Megamorph makes it more consistent for the end game. And what happened?
Look at Nexine. I don't think he got the.
Oh, he didn't. He failed the attack, and he didn't check the status report. I would love to see what he missed on this attack to flame him later. But hey, that's life. Sometimes 15 fusions can be a little bit tough, can be a little bit rough. And how did he get Megamorph first hand? Luck. This game has some bit of RNG, It's skill. It's basically skill at rolling the dice. So.
Oh, there's also another thing that can happen on the attack, that like one of the requirements is for the opponent to activate your trap card, but sometimes that trap card can be the last card in your deck, and then there's nothing you can do about it.
It's something that happens way too much. It's something that happens way too much. You think, okay, my deck has 40 cards. What's the chance of the trap card being? What are the odds of the trap card being the last card in the deck? 1 in 40. Pretty simple, right? But it happens a lot. It happens more than it should happen.
Last week I was running.
The chance. Can I say the chance? The chance is 50%. Yes or no? It's yes or no. Or it's the last, or it's not. So.
But yeah, now talking about the race, Knits has a strategical advantage right now, I dare to say, because he dropped the Megamorph, his first attack, the attack that can be the most, can have the most pressure. I like to say that a lot, but I don't know if everybody agrees with me. But the first attack during a race, I think it's really important. It sets the mood of the pace of the race, sets the mood of the race, and I would say Knits just had faith in the heart of the cards, right?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. The time save that Nexin had pretty much is going to slip up a bit, because he had a campaign advantage, if I recall correctly. But now that Knits dropped the first Megamorph, that's pretty huge. By the way, let me just note it down, because since we don't have the trackers, I have to keep track some way.
Yeah.
One thing I know that it's that the fourth match that Nexin is against the Pegasus. So while Knits is farming one time against Pegasus, the Nexin is the 4 battles, so there are some time loss that it's not good here for Nexin, of course.
And since we were talking about attacks and we just dropped the Megamorph in, it's good, really good when the Megamorph shows up, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't. So what are the main goals of the attack besides the Megamorph? The Megamorph is the epitome, the end result, but what can be also good to drop from the attack?
They have other useful equips, like the Dragon Treasure. It goes on every dragon basically, and the twin-headed Thunder Dragon is also a dragon. And the Bright Castle, it's an equip which goes on every card, so it's really useful. Also, the Widespread Ruin, which is the best trap card in the game. It kills any enemy that attacks you. So it can be very useful, especially on the last duels against very powerful cards. Also, the Yumi is a good field that can drop, and I think that's it.
Yeah, we have a solo hero also, but only a
Yeah.
Pegasus. So
Oh, come
it's a
on,
Thunder,
guys!
it's-
You guys are
little
forgetting
common.
about
Widespread?
the rarest drop that can
Oh,
can,
no.
can
Oh,
come
the
from
Crush card?
Crush card can be dropped during an attack on Pegasus, and
Yeah.
it's 2/2048. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's just nuts. That's a pretty lottery-like ticket odds, basically.
There's
So,
also
yeah, Talk.
I was going to say that they can also make a attack against Kaiba. It's some threat that some runners do. It's very similar to Pegasus, except that he won't drop the Megamorph, but he drops the Crush card much more
Frequently.
frequent. Yeah. So
And he can drop some. It's more for the removal, right? The
Yeah.
attack on Kaiba is more for the removal. Widespread ruin, warrior elimination. Those are the cards that can be some saviors in the run sometimes. And by the way, about the attack again, the requirements for simple for short are 15 fusions, 4 effective attacks, 1 equipment card used, 1 pure magic used. Pure magic can be, for instance, Raigeki, Dark Hole, or field cards like Umi, Mountain, Wasteland, whatever. And the trap card face down, and the activation.
Megamorph for next scene, so
It's an equalizer
got it.
then.
yeah, really good
Yeah.
drops.
and Kanit's got 1 Megamorph and no other equips, and then Nexin got 1 Megamorph and no other equips, so a little bit fun.
Really close race so far.
Yeah, as I said, it's basically an equalizer. Both of them got the Megamorphs, and Nexing got another trap to mitigate that problem we talked about earlier, which is the trap card showing as the last card. Sometimes runners opt for placing on the card on the deck 2 trap cards, because if one of those trap cards end up as the last one, the other one will show up around somewhere else before, where it will be usable.
Last week I did that. I put 2 trap cards in my deck, and they are both the 2 last cards that I got.
Yeah, it can be tough, but it's a situation that can be salvaged. But it's tough. It's still. If Pegasus sets up a Toon Alligator, for instance, I don't know, something low, depending on the trap card. I don't know.
Dragon Piper is a good card. If this occurs, because you can put the Dragon Piper in defensive mode. So in the when you draw the trap, then you put it in attack. So 200 attack is very, very low, and almost every card that he uses, he will attack your Dragon Piper.
That's right. The enemy AI will, just check the numbers and say, okay, can I beat that card? And if that's the case, it will, you will be forcing the enemy to attack, which is what we want sometimes for those trap card activations. And let's see how Kanit's fares. And it was an attack, Umi Megamorph, and Hamburger
run.
Ritual. That's pretty lucky. By the way, the attack is, I don't know if we explained it on a concise way, but it's 15 card drops per duel, right? And those drops are somewhat related. They are related to the rank we get. So the attack drops more magic cards, ritual cards in equipments, whilst the SA PAL rank drops more beefy monsters, So basically, that's the route, the strategy the runners will be employing during the run to, build their decks in a way that it's favorable for the end game. And 2 Megamorphs for Knits. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
And it's the only equips that he has, right? I don't think he has another equips.
Sorry, what the equipment he has? Yes, it's just Megamorphs, right?
It's Megamorph. He starts with the power of the Kaishin, so doesn't
I have
he
no
will
clue how to
probably
use the
be
equipment.
doing attack on Kaiba, so he can get more
Yeah, that
equipment
would be a good
and
call.
magic and trap cards.
Yeah, Kaiba Tech is a really good call there.
They will facing the Kaiba now. Kanits is against Isis or Kaiba?
Knits. I don't recall. I think it's against Ishise.
Let's see.
Yeah,
It's
I-
Kaiba.
Oh, it's
So,
Kaiba.
yeah.
Alright.
we can see which card the enemy play only by the
By the symbol,
Which
the
the-
Star Guardian symbol.
Star Guardian. Yes.
We
Star
repeat
Guardian.
so much. We repeat so much those duels that we get acclimated. You know, these are the
Yes.
cards of the enemy. Those are the Star Guardians. Those cards have. So okay, let's just pray for this duelist I'm facing to set a Mars card. Since we know, okay, that's okay. Let's pray for him to set a Sun card. Okay, I know it's tough. Runners too. So we have those kind of ways to predict. It's not really that, how can I say, impactful in the sense that we can react to it in the setting moment. But, you know, to check for later, to see, okay, to strategize against the enemy, what is what I'm trying to say. You
And
can,
sometimes you can like attack with a weaker card if you know what card is it. Sometimes you can make some decisions based on that.
yeah, exactly.
The most common card that we know that he's putting is the Uranus card. So we have 2 cards that are Wall, and that is the Millennium Shield and Labyrinth Wall. They have 3,000 defense, and Bakura is the first enemy that have this card. But later we face some mages. That is the third part of the game. At the second Egypt, so they have a lot of those cards that are Labyrinth Wall and Millennium Shield, and it's very annoying.
And the chat just asked, how did they kill Blue Eyes like that? It's because he has a lovely card called Megamorph, and he used it on the Jungle King, which is a dragon plus plant fusion. That is 2100, and with the Megamorph he goes 3k 100, and that is enough to deal with the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah, that's why the Megamorph is so good, because just a regular card that it's very easy to make and like win a duel.
Exactly. And sometimes getting back to the thing with the Guardian Stars and predicting cards, sometimes you have to make a toss-up, because sometimes you see the card that's set face down, it has a specific Guardian Star, but the enemy has more than one option of what that card could be, and then sometimes you attack and okay, it's gonna be a lab wall, but it's just a gnome that's 1800, and you just got nervous for nothing. But sometimes it's the lab wall, and you just get sad.
Yeah.
And next thing got 2 Dark Energy on attack against Kaiba.
But that's pretty good.
And so
Dark
next he
Energy.
has 2 Dark Energies and 1 Megamorph, right?
And he has 3 Umis, don't forget about it. So he has a good amount of fields for the late game. Regular equipments in Dark Energy that can be equipped on the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon and Skull Knights. Spellcasters, Mercury spellcasters, we'll be talking about them later. And
Yes.
but who would you rather be in this race? Would you rather be in the shoes of Knits that has 2 Megamorphs, or would you rather be on Nexing shoes with more equipment in 1 Megamorph?
I think the 2 Megamorph is a little bit advantage, because now we're going to see if he got like 1 or 2 equipments from Kaiba, he's a little bit ahead, but got no 1 equip. We need to wait and see what Mage Soldier are going to drop. So we have some battles.
And since we're talking,
next thing is going to face the Jono second. So let's see.
I'm not a big fan of this route, I would say, but let's just talk emphasize how important this stage of the run is, because this is the moment the runners will be getting equipments, and equipments is just what is needed to face the final boss of the game, the gauntlet that have failed so many people, so many runners, and knowing if you're gonna get some those equipments on Apex, on Pegasus or Kaiba, or even the last resort, which is the Soldier Mage that can drop Dark Energy on BCD. And the A-Tech has been achieved by Knits. Let's soon we'll be knowing what he got from this lovely attempt. And right now, Nexing is doing what exactly?
Jono.
Oh, he's doing Jono, right. I totally forgot about. You know, Jono is so he's just who cares about Jono, right? Who cares about Jono? I just totally forgot about him. I mean,
Jono is the enemy that in speedruns and race we almost never face him, because he has like 2 drops that are interesting. That is the MBD and the Red Eyes Black Dragon. So, why don't you play against him? You don't need to play against him. You can skip him. And
it's
we have
to
Metal
Mage.
And Metal Mage has 3. How can I say? The chance of getting MBD from Metal Mage, it's 3 times plus than Jono second. So it doesn't make
the odds are better.
much sense.
The odds are better. The things you get from Metal Mage farm is in general more useful for the runner, while Jono being easier to defeat. But besides the Red Dragon and the MBD at lower odds, it's not worth the time investment, because it's a detour from the normal route also. And just to clarify, Jono is pretty lame. I don't like Jono. I'm more of a Kaiba guy. I'm more of a Yugi guy. And there's a lot of there's a lot of things we from Brazil how do I say, share with the North American community, because the dub we got here in Brazil was the 4Kids version that was aired in the United States, I believe. So the duel is a thing that we have to during the opening of the show. And anyone that has watched the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, for instance, can know a lot about that. And that's all I have to say right now.
Yeah. And Kanit got the attack also from Kaiba, but he got only 2 widespread runes, which are pretty good, especially on the late game, but he didn't get any equips.
Okay.
The Kanits got 2 widespread runes, so I like 2 widespreads.
And from the Kaiba attack, you guys are talking.
Yes.
Oh, $2 size, just wonderful.
And now here facing the Mage Soldier. Mage Soldier, when you do the BCD, he has a good drop that is Dark Energy, and the odds are good. So the next scene already get his Dark Energy, so let's see.
Yeah, there's this thing that we haven't commented about, but there's a limit of the number of cards you can place in your deck. You're limited to 3 cards of the same card. So if you dropped Dark Energy during the Kaiba attack, and if you drop more Dark Energies on the Soldier Mage, you get topped. Like, I have 5 Dark Energies and I'm just gonna be able to use 3. And there's some strategizing about this thing when you do the attacks on Pegasus and Kaiba, based on the amount of attacks you did on Pegasus and what those attacks brought to you. The attack on Kaiba can be a little, less, loses its worth, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't think there was a Dark Energy for Kinect.
No.
That's a bit unfortunate, but each runner has to be some sort of advantage. Kinect has 2 Megamorphs, 2 WSRs, and next in, I think he has a DCJ, but no removal except for the Geki, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so basically for this second part of the run, Egypt 2, the runners will be doing some deck building, and they are going to remove the fillers, right? The fusions that isn't THTD, like the Nekoga or the Flame Cerebrus. And what are they going to put on their decks, mostly?
Yeah, it will be mostly dragons, thunders, and the rest, aquas and spellcasters. Because you can do the twin-headed thunder dragon without thunders. You should do like a dragon and water. It will make the Spike Sidra card. And if you put a spellcaster on it, it will make the Carminary attack, which is a thunder. And then you can put another dragon on it and it will make the THD.
Yeah, we call this THDD like thunderless dragon, because we use no thunder and then Carminary attack appears and we have a THD. So
this game has. I think it's important to mention that this game has a fusion system that sometimes have specific fusions, right? Because from now on, from here on out, we just saw like zombie plus plant, dragon plus practically everything, and it fused. But there are some specific fusions, like card A must be fused with some other thing to get this specific thing, and Spike Sidra is with a spellcaster is one of those specific fusions in the game that you have to look up somewhere or just find out by accident.
Yeah, and especially against the Ocean Mage and the Sec Metal, it's really strong because even if you make just a Spike Sidra, it gets the bonus from the Sia field. And also has Pluto as a Guardian Star, which is strong against Neptune enemies, and they have a lot. Neptune enemies. Basically, Neptune is for water cards.
All right. So now our runners will be doing the shrines. Each shrine has a lower mage and a higher mage. The higher mages have names. This one is Sekmetan. And it's one of the... I like to separate into 3 groups of shrines. There are the easy shrines that can be a little troublesome sometimes, but it's not... Usually you don't get your run killed by those shrines. And there are the, godlike tough shrines. You need to have your resources or else you'll fail. Yeah. And the water shrine, the desert shrine, and the mountain shrine are called the easy ones, quote unquote. Because basically,
I put the mountain on the middle, because mountain you can have some trouble.
you can, but it's your THD has advantage. It's basically this. What makes the water shrine easy? Because it's the sea field, and THD is gonna have an advantage. You just need an equipment to deal with most of the things. Or actually, you don't even need equipment. Only if it comes hard mode. And if you are aware about the Guardian stars you'll be choosing on your THTD, it will be mostly fine. The thing that annoys most runners is that we want to get SA PAL during the Water Shrine in the lower and in Sekhmetan. And because, it brings thunders, right? In some water dragons and what's so.
Yeah, also on the Mountain Shrine, the Big Dragon Jungle King, the Dragon plus Plant Fusion is very strong because it gets bonus from the field and also has Jupiter as a Guardian Star, which is strong against Saturn, and they have a lot of Saturn monsters.
Yeah. And I think we haven't talked about Did we talk about the emulator thing?
No.
Because
the question
there's
about the speed.
Yeah, there's this there's this decision the runners when they are starting to learn the game think there are some emulators that are allowed within the list in the in the leaderboard. There is one that is more consistent to set up, use, and so on. But there's usually the runners during the tournament use one of the emulators that gives some sort of advantage in the overworld area when you transition between the shrines. And it's basically a little time save, but it's not gonna make the huge difference on the end game, I would say. And Knit is on mountain, right now.
Yeah.
And
yes, Knit's on mountain, and Nexin are in the desert.
Also, except for the ocean and mountain mages, field cards are really strong against the other mages because usually you won't. Maybe you can use a Yumi against the mountain mage. It can be strong also, especially against the high mage. You can use the Beast School Dragon because Yumi won't give any bonus to it, but you'll give to the THD. But for the others mage, the field cards are really strong because besides making your monsters stronger, they also make the enemy monsters weaker. So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win situation. You debuff. That's why Umi is the best field card we tend to use during the later parts of the run, because it debuffs practically everything, and that has a field, of course, and buffs the THTD. So, and during the mountain mage, during the mountain shrine, better saying, the Atenza is something that can be. He's really volatile. He can be sweet to you, like, okay, no tough cards from here on out, but he can, set up a Black School Dragon, the famous BSD. We love to talk in codes in Forbidden Memories, and there is the Black School Dragon. I think we called for him.
He got the equip.
He got a Megamorph and WSR. That's just okay. And there's this thing that we, jinxing the runners is something that it's something that the casters must do, right? In Brazil during the tournament, Nexin, which is one of the runners with us today, he did cast a lot of the games during the Brazilian tournament that we are having, and the chat, the people deemed him to be the most that jinx the most. He has this power to straight up jinx a attack, straight up jinx a final 6, final 7 attempt, and he just got the moniker Neck Zika, which roughly translates as Neck Jinx. I would try to say Neck Jinx. I don't know.
Also, the Atenza, which is the high mountain mage, he have a very little chance of using the Meteor Bee Dragon, which get bonus from the mountain field. So
That's a myth. That's a myth.
That's a myth.
That's a
Memories Vash
method.
now. I never seen this, but so it's not real, right?
I have never seen Atenza set a Meteor Black Dragon in my life. I've seen clips about it, but I think they're all doctored. They're all fake.
It's a very very little chance. I haven't seen it in my ears also.
But yeah, some unfortunate runners. Nexin actually got karma, I guess, since he jinxed a lot of the runners. In one of his PB attempts, he got the fabled Meteor Black Dragon from Atenza, and that's Atenza gun for now. And let's see.
And now, next thing, are on the mountain shrine. So we have another Tenza.
Do you think
We have some good drops here in the shrines. So mountain and the ocean mage, they have a slightly chance to drop Thunder Dragon, that is a thunder and also a dragon, so it's a very very good drop. The mountain mage, the low mountain, right? He has a slightly chance to drop Meteor Beat Dragon, and he has also a chance to drop School Knight. So there are some drops on the the shrines that are very good, but the most good drop on the shrines are the drops from the Metal Mage. So they will be probably farming Metal Mage after they finish the shrines.
Yeah, it's one of the safety strats that runners like to use during a race, because Metal, he's a bit tough to farm if you don't have a consistent deck. By the time you get to Egypt too, and you haven't done the attack, got some megamorphs or some good equipments. But the farm for Metal Mage gives lots of big dragons. Gives some thunder sometimes in the form of Kaminari, and he can have this high attack point spellcasters, Mercury spellcasters, Dark Magician, Skull Knight, and of course the fabled Metal Black Dragon can be dropped on the Metal Mage. So yeah, I would like to say that he's the most farmed enemy in the game. Not from a speedrunning point of view, but in a general point of view, he's the guy that most people know. Oh, he drops Meteor Black Dragon, so I'll just farm him.
And Nexin also got the Bisco Dragon against Atenza, so both got a tough card to deal with, but both good.
So far, the RNG for this run has been pretty, fair to both runners in the sense of the drops, in the sense of the hard modes they're getting from the enemies.
Yeah, that's true. And that's really nice for the race because closer races are more interesting.
Yeah, when the races are more close from each other, when they are more tight, we can see how the runners will be taking decisions based on what's happening on the game, on the enemy's game, and so on, and it can lead to some really cool turnarounds. And that's Atenza for Nexin, and Knit is doing the Desert Mage, or is he already a Martis? Martis.
I think it's Desert Mage still.
Let's see.
Because he's checking the drops, I don't know, maybe. Yeah, he was already.
Martis,
He was checking the drop for Martis because Martis has a low chance to drop Zoa on AS rank, so he will see to look forward this drop. It's a very good card that equips Dark Energy. So, and we have some cards that have Mercury on the Star Guardian, like Zoa, Dark Magician, School Knight, so they can beat the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon with some equips. When you use Megamorph and another equip, you put them in 4,000 and 100, 150. So they can use the Star Guardian Mercury to beat the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon with 4,500.
Yeah, or even just a simple blue eyes, right? The 3K blue eyes. Anyway, both runners at Metal Mage right now, and I mean, mostly what they want to do is go through this duel, but if possible, with the SA power rank, because as we said, Metal Mage is really good. The drops he has is really good, and but he has some tough cards, and during the campaign he has the Metal Field advantage, which makes his cards really, really powerful. So the way the runners are going to try to manipulate the Metal Mage is using field cards. Basically, if the Metal Mage is in a field that isn't metal, he's gonna try to use a Sogen as quickly as possible if it's in his hands. And from now on, some enemies will be having some hands that, normally a hand can have 5 cards on it, right? In this game, your hand is 5 cards in it. But the enemies, they cheat. They don't have 5 cards anymore. They tend to have 15, 20, if I'm not remembering it wrongly.
Yeah.
Apo for Nexin, so there's a chance to meet our Black Dragon, and BCD for Kanit. So they are going out to the free duel, so they will farm a little bit. They are searching for Meteor Black Dragon, School Knight, Dark Magician, Counter Attack, Curse of Dragon, Dragons.
And there's the Skull Knight for Nexin. And the odds for dropping a School Knight, the same of dropping the Meteor Black Dragon, so I mean, it's a good sign.
Yeah.
And let's see what did Knitz got from his drop.
Nothing special. It was a BCD. So
It was a BCD, right? Okay. I thought he had got the A pounder. So yeah, as you guys can see, the Metal Mage just insta-used Sogen. It's a pretty common first move during the free duel part of the farm.
It's much easier to get the S and A power rank on the free duel. On the BCD, the best you can get is a Cabinet Attack, which is pretty good, and some big dragons, but nothing as close as the S or A power.
Millennium Shield, I think, but there's a slightly chance to be impress judge for Kanitz here. Let's see. But on Pluto, let's see.
Tough.
He has an Yumi on his hand, so it's okay, but it's Cabinet Attack in Pluto, so he has disadvantage against Millennium Shield. And even with the Yumi, he still can't kill because of Star Guardian. Another one. Nothing to Nexin on SA Paul, only Dark Magician. Dark Magician is a good drop, but it's not what you're looking forward, because there are some drops that are a little better that you need to have.
But each time they accomplish a duel on the Metal Mage, they end up, getting some cards that they can use to build a more robust deck and to easily get this APAL on the Metal Mage. So even though it can drop some of the things that are not so interesting, it can help speed up the process. And I think that's all I have to say for now.
Yeah. Like the Dark Magician is useful against the Forest Mage because it has Mars as a second Guardian Star, which is good against Forest. And also against, maybe a little bit against the back in Neko on the late game because it has the bonus from the field, but still not enough there.
One thing that they do on the farm of Metal Mage is using a lot of fields in their deck. So when they switch the field, the Metal Mage use the field on the field that you already use, and it doesn't matter if we will lose the battle or not. He needs to be on the Sogen because they love the Sogen. So you can abuse that to win. And we have the first Meteor Black Dragon on next in hands.
Yeah, that's really huge. Usually within 3 A POWs, you can have a good chance of dropping a Skull Knight or an MBD, and that's within what is expected. But sometimes, you know how statistics work, you know how probability, those things are quite difficult sometimes. And during the Brazilian tournament, one of the competitors, which is the loser's final winner, which is Doug, he actually has one of the worst scores for medal farm. In one of the races he did, I think, over 30 times and got nothing. Just got on the last, like above 30 tries, he got it, and that's a huge time loss sometimes.
Yes, we know, that statistics are overrated. So it's always 50%.
And
also against middle mage, they usually use like some equips and some magic, so it's really important to keep your card count above 27, so 28 or more to get the A rank at least.
Yes, and the Metal Mage is really hard for Knut. The third shield that he uses.
Yeah, this Millennium Shield can be. This Millennium Shield can be really troublesome. And another A, Gaia, yeah, nothing. Kaminari, I think I've seen.
It's good, but okay.
So, and yeah, the music is great, isn't it? At least this is the good part of the grind part of the game, is that the music is pretty nice. Some people don't like the music, but hey, to each their own.
I don't know these people.
There are some dissidents that don't like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories.
It's impossible
OST.
not to like the OST from this game. It's awesome. You can play like 300 times against Metal Mage, you will still love the music. Of course, it's really common that when we have our 10, 12, 14 years, we are playing this game, and if you want to get a Meteor Black Dragon in the vanilla mode, only one drop per battle, it's common that you play more than 200 battle against the Metal Mage, so you heard a lot the music.
Other mechanics and nothing.
Yes.
What do you guys think the runners are gonna be like? Okay, I'm done with this farm. I think my deck is good. What am I? Just another Meteor Black Dragon. What do you guys think?
Yeah, the thing is,
Which runner?
for next scene, the only equip that goes on the MBD is the Megamorph, and the Three Darkaners might be good for like School Knights or something. So I don't know, maybe he's looking for a second School Knight or a second MBD before moving on.
Yes, he's probably searching for School Knight and Dark Magicians, so he can put the dark energy that he has. Of course, if it appears another Meteor Black Dragon, it will help so much, because we have the final 6 and the final 7 in this game. What is the final 6 and final 7? Basically, the final 6, you will battle against 6 enemies at the final of the game, and final 7 you battle against 7 enemies at the final of the game. But what you need... Oh, School Knight, another School Knight.
That's pretty good.
What you need to do to get the final 6? Before you finish the shrines, you need to battle against Lab Mage and the second Settle, so you can open the final 6. And when you do this, when you go to the final of the game, you got only 6 enemies to go.
Yeah, and it's, the thing about the final 7, final 6, which will be nearing sooner, based on the drops they get, is that it's a different route. One is more common for PB attempts, because doing the route for the final 6 is a time loss, but it's something that is more consistent, because the end game is so hard. It's so hard that having one less enemy ends up being a time save if you have to reset, because if you lost a duel during the final gauntlet. So for the race setting, it's pretty common for runners to choose to go for this route, the final 6 route, where they face the Lab Mage, defeat the Lab Mage, and do an extra duel that they wouldn't have to do, which is Seto Second. And Seto Second can be a little bit tough. You have to, you need to have a robust deck to face him. He has Gate Guardian, he has some 3k attack point cards like Blackluster Soldier, Blue Eyes. So if you don't have the equipments, if you don't have some, safeties to deal with those cards, it can be tough. And the Lab Mage itself can, set a Gate Guardian. So yeah, the sad thing about doing the final 6 route is when these kinds of things happen. When you lose the duel during these segments, the Lab Mage, Seto Second, because in theory you're doing this extra duel to mitigate the end game. But if you lose the duel during this moment, it's you feel a lot sad. It's a lot of sadness. It's really sad.
Yeah. Also, on the final 6 or 7, it's like the further you go on the final gauntlet, it's more time loss. If you lose on Nightmare, it's a big time loss because you need to redo everything until there.
And it's definitely a mental breakdown ongoing when you lose to Nightmare, because it's as you said. I'm nearing the end of the game. I just need to win this duel, and then you have the sorriest luck in the world, and that's a game over for Nexen. So
yes,
would you rather try again
the
final 6 route, or you could get back to farming
I don't know
metal,
what he's going to do, but
Pegasus.
For Pegasus. What?
Meteor Black Dragon for Kanits.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay. Nice drop. And no.
I also thought that he was going to Mage Shoulder.
We thought that Kanits was going to do some BCT in Base Shoulder, but he don't. They're going to Metal Mage to
Did he say?
finish the Kepura. Kepura is very, very hard, he put the Gate Guardian plus Sogen and the field, right? And he has 4,002 and 5, so it's very hard to win against him.
The good thing is that the fake out work against the mages, so you can do the fake out against Kipura to like delay the duel a little bit and maybe draw some cards to be able to handle it, which you can't do against the final gauntlet because they can see your cards. So that's why the final gauntlet is much harder than the mages.
From Haishin second and so forth, the enemies are just like Pegasus. They cheat. They can see your cards on the that you set on the field. So there's no fake out to be accepted. And I don't know what were we talking about. I was looking at chat and I got distracted. Sorry.
Kanitz just got MBD and a School Night also, and went
a School Night also. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, two very good cards for him.
But Kanitz have only 2 Megamorphs as his keep, so maybe can go for an 8 deck. Oh,
another MBD.
And another one.
I think he'll go back and save now.
Of course.
He's doing it.
And another one. And another one.
And another one. So he maybe can go for an attack in the Tenza. Tenza has some good drops on attacks. So let's see.
And with that, I think it's safe to say he's just going, to plow through the Meadow Shrine. Now that he has 2 MBDs and 2 Megamorphs, that's pretty crazy. The good thing about having, a duplicate of one of those strong cards is, because how the deck works and how you can have a bad hand. Having a duplicate of the card can save you from some situations that it's for the cards, so it's more likely to appear one of those Megamorphs or Meteor Black Dragons when you have it's double the chance, right? If you have 2 cards, it's double the chance.
Yeah. And also the MVD is very good because even if it's like weaker than the Gate Guardian, it can beat it because the enemy will always play Gate Guardian on the Moon Guardian Star, and you can put the MBD on Sun, so you have advantage against it. And it also can beat the perfectly ultimate Gratmorph, because if you put it on Mars, it wins against it because both are 3500, but if the bonus from the Guardian Star can beat it. It's not true on the shrines because like the Metal Mage can have, Kepura can have the bonus from the field, so you need to play a field before or something, or zero equip. The same for Forest, but for other duels, it's really strong.
Yeah, I like to say that the MBD trivializes some of the duels from the later shrines and during the final gauntlet of the game, because it's such a versatile card, as the Skull Knight is also. And since we've been hoarding those equipments for the THTD, which is a dragon, most of the equipments that we get that are for dragon work for the MBD. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. If it doesn't work on MBD, it works on the Skull Knight.
Exactly.
Like the Beast Fangs and Dark Energy.
But it's pretty curious. But it's pretty curious, isn't it, that the Dark Energy doesn't work on a Meteor Black Dragon. That's and Beast Fangs. Beast Fangs don't work on the Meteor Black Dragon.
Yeah, but it works on the Skull Knight for some reason.
And Meteor Black Dragon has fangs on the image, so it's a little bit strange, but I like it because it makes it a little bit difficult to equip the Meteor Black Dragon, so it's not so overpowered. If you could use the Thunder Dragon with Dark Energy and Beast Fangs, and also Meteor Black Dragon with Beast Fangs, Dark Energy, Bright Castle, Megamorph, the pool would be a little large, and be like very, very good.
Yeah, and that's why we value so much those general purpose equipments like Bright Castle and Megamorph, because since they equip on everything, you don't have this problem. If you've been dropping those cards, you're not locked into just one build. You can, diverse a little bit. Oh, I've got Skull Knight. Skull Knight can beat those types of cards easily. So, okay, Skull Knight plus Bright Castle is gonna win some duels later on.
And Maxine got basically nothing on the attack. He just lost 5 minutes.
Yeah, some white spreads are nice because he was lacking some removals, but not what he was looking for.
He was lacking removal, right? If I'm not remembering.
Yeah. He got a DCJ and a widespread, so it's nice, but could have been better.
Could have been better. And Meteor Bangela Dragon. Bangela is toothless, guys. Just to translate to everyone that's watching and reading chat.
Skull Knight also has some really good Guardian Stars because the second Guardian Star is Neptune, and you can put it to beat MBD. Against Henshin second, it's really good because the Skull Knight get the bonus from the field. So if Henshin plays a MBD, you can just put the Skull Knight on Neptune and win.
Yeah, for this latter half of the run, we'll be pretty concerned about some cards that we've mentioned already, like the Gate Guardian, and now the Meteor Black Dragon will be a problem. Some of the enemies from the final gauntlet do have it, so we need to think about ways of countering it, be it removal like Dragon Capture Jar, which we'll be calling DCJ for short, and the perfectly ultimate Great Moth will be probably seen soon. So let's just see. There's the thing, the Pugmy vulture, people like to call.
Yeah.
Some people do have it, some people don't.
Yeah, we are near the end of the game, so they are fighting against the last shrines, and you'll probably think, oh, they are almost in the end, okay. But there's a chance of they lose because the final game is very, very brutal. The Seto third is the most challenging opponent. He has most than 50% of chance to play the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So let's see. The Meteor Black Dragon wins solo against almost every enemy of the final game. He only don't win against Nightmare and Seto Dirt. So this card facilitates the run a lot.
All right, and just so I can put in context to you guys, we've been through the beginning talking about the grading, how the rank system, how the runners were trying to get some Thunder, some Dragons, to get ATACs, to farm equipments. All this roundabout they've done sometimes, to go out of their way to farm, to make duels slower, is just for this final segment of the game, the final 7/final 6, which the final gauntlet is pretty unforgiving, and we need the most resources we can get in terms of monsters and equipments, fields, removals. And even with a robust deck that has, 2 MBDs, 2 Megamorphs, 1 equipment, 2 equipments, fields, Skull Knights, it's still a good chance to fail the gauntlet, to losing one of the duels. Seto third is the most troublesome one, no doubt about it, but Dark Knight can be pretty tough. Nightmare can, overpower you pretty easily. So we'll be talking more when we get to the final gauntlet about the specifics of each duel during the final gauntlet. And it has a lot of RNG. And the thing about this what is interesting to run this game is how you deal with the cards that how you react to the situations that are dealt to you. How can you use a fake out to win against an Odysseus? How can you use magic lock to extend the duel and prevent from getting Raigekt, and so on. And by the way, just to clarify, the only difference this category has in comparison to the original is the 15 cards. That's the only thing. This game, it drops 15 cards per duel, but the drop rates, the tables, it's all the same. It's all the same. So it's more dynamic. It's interesting, and it's a different way to play the game that has really some fun. It can be fun. It can be a lot of there can be a lot of heartbreak also in the midst of learning this game and running it and trying to go for PB attempts. Get that sub 2 hours can be quite the grind, quite the frustration. But when you get it, it's lovely, and that's why we speedrun this beast of a game. And the Anubisius was pretty easy, nah? Right? When you have NBD, the Anubisius is... Did he put a Pugmy? No, I think.
Oh, he didn't.
Yeah, that's...
Anubisius is pretty easy sometimes. It's really good. Kepura and Anubisius could be very, very hard, and when they are easy, very good. And we have Mage Soldier.
I need to searching more equips because the only equipment that he has is the 2 Megamorphs, which is great, but he's searching for more to have more options and not depend on the Megamorphs so much, because only 2, right? So maybe the 2 are the bottom of the deck. So
yes. You need to have you need to have a robust deck. You need more options. You can't just rely, oh, I got this MBD, I'm gonna wreck everything with it. And if it doesn't show up on your initial hand, and if you cycle through your deck and it doesn't come, well, you're gonna get the loser title showing up, floating around in front of you. And
in 6 or 7 duels in a row, the chances of it happening in one duel is very high.
Yes.
You need to do is make your deck most consistent that you could. So you use your time to make your deck better and better, so you can win more consistent, each better.
And have those fast duels, right? If you can draw those huge cards in the beginning, you can win in 2 rounds, 3 rounds sometimes. And if you have a Meteor Black Dragon, you can set it up face down, and sometimes the enemy will attack it if it's not from the final parts of the game. And that speeds up the duel. There are a lot of optimizations. Sometimes we have to avoid doing some fusions when we know already how to, we have little damage to win the duel. Sometimes we mechanically just get acclimated to keep doing fusions, but sometimes you just need to set a card face down. Any card can win the duel, and there are these optimizations you have to, when you start learning the run, you want to get the mechanicals of, I recognize this card, I can fuse it, so lift this one up, and we get a fusion. But sometimes we need to be more efficient, which is speedrunning is about.
And easy for next game, right? Meteor Black Dragon face down. The first mage could attack and kill each other. So
oh, nice.
Not good. But he got the Yumi. Got an advantage here.
Good thing he didn't attack. If he attacked with the Pugmin, it would be a draw and both would be dead at the end.
And by the way, since we are in the final segments of the game, the widespread ruling is the trap card we cited before. That is, the only trap card that's useful for the final part of the game, and it's a really powerful one. It can turn some duels around. It can guarantee a good start if you don't have, something in your hand at the moment. You can use to bait some Megamorph uses. By the way, the enemies will be using Megamorph during the final 7. It's a threat that we have to, account all the time. It will be troublesome.
Yeah, especially in Shin Second. It's the most likely to use it.
Yes, Haitian Second and the Dark Knight are the two enemies that use traps and spells most. Also, you have the Nightmare that has no traps and no spell. Only have monsters. So if you don't beat him in like 2 turns, you already lost.
Yeah,
it's a quick duo. Always.
By the way, I have to recall that Jono Second didn't come to play in any moment. He didn't unlock it, but didn't farm it. If I recall correctly.
He just did the one of the campaign.
He just did it for the memes. Just for the memes,
Yeah.
of course. By the way, there's a hard puzzle. Really hard puzzle. After you defeat the lab mage, you have to input the correct order in the prompts that show up. I totally forgot about it. It's up, up, down, up, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
it. It's so hard to remember. I almost forgot every time that I play. So yeah, we have a secret ending that is the final 8 when you miss the puzzle.
Yeah, when you screw up the labyrinth directions, it means you have to face the lab mage once again. So it's what we call final 8, because you do an extra duel just for free, just because you like dueling or because you don't have good memory. And during the Brazilian tournament, I think there was one instance of one of the participants choosing the wrong option.
Yes, we are heading to the final of the game. So Kanitz has a slightly advantage here. So he's against Sebek. It's the second enemy. And Nexin won against the Lab Mage. So
Yeah, they are not really far from each other. Just one
Yes,
duel
yes,
of difference, basically. Considering how they were synced during the Metal Mage farm, it's pretty up to grabs this race. We can't tell for sure who's gonna win. As said, Kanitz has an advantage, and let's talk about the duelists from the final gauntlet of the game. We have Sebek, Neku, Haishin second, Seto third, Dark Knight, and Nightmare. And Sebek is pretty fine. He's a chill dude, right?
It's yeah.
Sebek and Neku are called free because it's so easy to beat them. You only need to equip Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon plus 1 equipment. So with this you can win, basically. And Nexin drop and Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon.
But here's the thing about Sebek. He has Lab Wall, so you need to be careful on how you set your Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. If you set it on Pluto, you're gonna have some disadvantage because of the Lab Wall that has a Star Guardian advantage. So it's one of the things that when you're learning the final 7, the final gauntlet, you have to be wary of. Okay, during those first duels, Lab Mage, Sebek, I need to set the correct Guardian Star. It has to be Pluto. But afterwards, it doesn't matter really that much.
Yeah.
Who's ahead?
The back is much easier because if you have a field, you can set a field use a field and make a THD and it's over. You win. But
Yeah.
on Neko, it's a little bit harder because he can use Yami similar as the mages use the respective field cards. So you can't just use Yumi because he probably will play Yami later. So you can try to set the Yumi and use it on the next turn, but sometimes he used the Harpies Feather Duster. So it's a little bit trickier to beat Neko, and that's why Neko wins sometimes.
Yeah, Neko is known to be a free duel, like it's easy, but he has some tough cards. If you don't draw an MBD and Megamorph, you can be in quite a situation. But this one is pretty okay for Knitz. But the thing is, Sebek, now we have to talk more about Magic Lock and the spells that those enemies can use. And Sebek has some debuffs, like Shadow Word. Shadow Word is the name? I don't recall. It's Spellbinding Circle, but the stronger one.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Shadow Spell. I
Shadow
think
Spell. Thank you. There's Shadow Spell. If you some way you have a bad hand at the beginning, and you can cycle through your deck, you can get debuffed if he sets those magic cards on the field and use against you. And Neko, he has swords, if I recall correctly, so it can be a time loss, even though you can dominate the field later with Umi and what such. But it can be a time loss if you lose Magic Lock on those enemies. And now it starts the tricky part of the final gauntlet. Aishin second. So
Yes.
what's the deal with him? What's the deal with him? Why is he so tough? What makes him so tough, Azura?
Reaching second is the first enemy that could be hard, because once he have the control of the board, it's so hard to beat him, because he has the Gate Guardian, of course, but he also has Megamorph, has Widespread Ruin, so if you don't Magic Lock him, he will use the Megamorph and you probably lost the battle.
That's just exactly that. And by the way, he can set Gate Guardian, he can set Meteor Black Dragon, and he can set Black Skull Dragon, which are some tough cards to deal with without equipment, with just the bare bones THDD. Knitz did get a Meteor Black Dragon on the first hand, which is pretty nice. But he got a Widespread Ruin also. And Widespread Ruin is one of the best openers you can have against Aishin second. Can you explain that, Phil, for us?
Yes, because if you put the Widespread, even if he uses the Megamorph, he will attack you and he will lose both the Gate Guardian or any monster that he played and the Megamorph. So it's a good play. He also can use the Harpies Feather Duster and remove your trap card, but like you get a turn advantage. You draw another card and can do some life points damage on him.
Oh, and from now on, there's something that can be dangerous about the enemy setting cards on the field, which is the Widespread Ruin. Aishin was one of those instances, one of those guys. Set a third can set Widespread Ruins also. And is there anything else interesting? Oh yeah, he has. What is it? Let me just check, just to be sure.
Kazejin!
Kazejin is pretty hard.
Yeah, it's a
very hard. It's not so good, but it's very hard.
It's very rare, exactly. There's some mad lads that like to do the GG%, which is another category extension, another extension of the category for Yu-Gi-Oh, where you just need to farm the requirements to make the ritual of the Gate Guardian. By the way, getting back to the set of third, he has a 56.81% of chance to set a ultimate Blue Eyes in the first turn. That's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's see.
Let's see.
What's it gonna be?
And,
Oh,
easy modes.
Meteor Black Dragon for the Seto third. And from now on, having removals is pretty important. He drawed a DCJ, which is gonna get rid of the dragons. MBD is a dragon, Ultimate Blue Eyes is a dragon, and he still has Geki on his end. And he set a back row, and it was a trap card. We can tell that it's a trap card because when the enemy puts a back row, right before he ends his turn, he passes the cursor through the cards, and if the back row lights up, keeps lighted up, it's a trap card. If it gets a little darker, it means it's a magic or equipment.
Oh, Meteor Black Dragon start for next scene too. So we have two Seto third easy modes.
And
that's pretty even for both of runners. As we said before, the game is being really fair to both runners, and that's a setup for a good race.
Of course. The Kanitz is almost winning the battle. He has the control of the board, and now next scene will control the board though. So we have probably 2 wins here against Seto third, and let's see, they are almost on the same time. Dark Knight and Nightmare will be waiting for them.
But remember, there's still a possibility for a top deck for Seto third. It's roughly 4% of chance that he top decks a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Remember, just for since you guys haven't seen it, the Blue Eyes Ultimate has 4K.500 attack points. It's a lot. Usually the most efficient way to deal with it is removal. Raigeki, DCJ, Dark Hole, whatever, Widespread are options. But if you want to face him head on, you'll need, usually a Megamorph, a Spellcaster, a Mechry Spellcaster, and in lots of equipments. Or fields.
Kanitz is like 1 minute ahead next scene now. Let's see what's going through.
And here we get to the next enemy. I'll just talk a little bit about it beforehand because there's a little segment of text right here for Kanitz. But basically, Dark Knight likes to use a lot of magic. He just loves his back row magics and trap cards, and we'll be talking soon about the possibilities of what entails. And for now, next thing is with dominating the board, has control of the board. It's gonna go lethal now, and both runners made I will not say quick, but safe dispatch of Seto third.
Yeah, and for Dark Knight, he has like a wide variety of trap cards and magic cards. So sometimes, like for Seto third and Aishin, if he sets a trap card, it's a widespread. So you don't need to think about it. But for Dark Knight, it might be a widespread. It might be a useless trap card. So you can take some risks. Depends on what you're trying to do, but.
Let's see how the initial hand fares here, and he has the option to make it THTD, set it up on Moon, because the second most common card for Dark Knight is a Cosmo Queen, which he can beat in Moon. Let's see what happens. Silence before and a BSD. That's fine. That's okay. With 1 equipment, and he can deal with this guy, but no equipments whatsoever. He needs to cycle his hand right now. What do you think he's gonna keep? He's gonna cycle everything, keep the Skull Knight. What would you do?
I would cycle everything.
Everything. That's a good call.
Yeah.
I like cycling more because since he has 2 Megamorphs, 2 MBDs, it makes my heart go like I need to cycle my deck. It will show up. I need to trust the heart of the cards.
Like this Skull Knight, it doesn't matter much now because it can be any monster. You just need a equip or a MBD basically. Yeah, or some removal. It can
or
help.
some removal. He had 2 DCJs. He could have, lifted one more to use both DCJs. Let's say use both. Discard one and use the other. But hey,
Yeah,
that's
so
okay.
he
I think he
started-
wants to keep it.
Yeah, he started setting his trap cards there.
Yeah, and now he has the chance to see what it is, and he's gonna check. And it's not a widespread ruin. It can be a reverse trap, which
Yeah, which is
it's
pretty bad.
it's pretty bad. It makes any equipment you try to use debuff your monster instead of buffing it. So in Megamorph, instead of buffing 1000 to your monster, it would debuff 1000. It would make your MBD or THTD useless. And those are the 2 most worrisome trap cards Dark Knight has. Widespread Ruin and Reverse. The other 2 ones is Bad Reaction and Goblin Fan, if I recall correctly. And since we don't use magics that deal direct damage to life points, it's not a problem. They're not gonna activate. And Kanitz, despite struggling a little bit in the beginning, does finish the Dark Knight. We have a race, lads. We have a race.
Yes, we have a race, but Nexin is trying to beat Dark Knight. He has the control of the board, but it's a little bit hard.
Yeah, it can be tough, isn't it?
Okay. He can make
yeah.
an attack here. It's a possibility, but
And
Dark Knight has a chance to.
Let's talk
Drop
about Nightmare.
Megamorph.
Since Knitz started Nightmare just now, Nightmare has a gimmick, just as Dark Knight had one. Nightmare doesn't have magic, nor traps or equipments. It's only monsters. And he started the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. It's 27-ish% that he sets a ultimate on the first turn, and Kenneth's got unlucky right there. So he
Yeah,
has to cycle
like-
his deck.
He needs a removal ASAP, or otherwise there's nothing he can do, because like sometimes even on settle third he can set some back row card like a magic or a trap card, and you have some more turns to draw something to handle it. But on Nightmare you don't have it this time.
Okay.
DCJ,
He
Dragon
do you
just
risk
can
it?
kill both the enemies, but he has 3,500 life. So if Nightmare puts Perfected Ultimate Great Moth or Meteor Black Dragon, he win. And
BSD,
That's good.
Blackluster.
okay.
Blackluster Soldier, Nightmare Friend of Knitz. We're gonna have a contest here. Can Knitz seal the deal? We have to, keep your eyes open. You guys don't want to miss it, because he has control of the board. But it's still
8 Guardian
it's still up for
starts
grabs.
for next scene. So he still have a chance to win before the Kanits, but let's see. Okay, no Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon for Kanits, so he will be losing some time here.
Cosmo
And
Queen.
Nexin could win first hand.
Let's see what happens. Because Kanitz is having a tough. He had a tough start, lost some momentum, but now what he's gonna do? What is he gonna do?
He needs to be faster. He needs to be faster.
he needs to be faster.
He needs to put anything and he win in the next round. But Nexin also win the next round. So let's see. He has a trap, so he could attack in this turn. He could use the Megamorph, and he would win in the next turn.
Yeah,
And
because
there's
Possibly
a-
miss
you
the
have,
little.
And still, there's a
Absolutely.
possibility of a top deck against Nexin if Nightmare top decks are ultimate. Let's
Who won
see.
first?
It's gonna be close,
Yeah.
but I think Knitz got this.
Yeah.
He got it. Oh my god, that was so close. That was so
So
close.
close.
And let's see the timer. And time.
Yeah, that was really close. That was amazing. And both finished the run. That was really great.
On first
Holy moly,
sight,
that
yes.
was tense. The
So,
arena
so
was
close.
electrified, I would say. I hope you guys in chat could feel this vibe. It was amazing. That was quite the
And-
finish.
GG for Knits.
And I think the runners don't know yet who finished first. And next thing, I think he just got the information. It was a tight race. It was amazing. Unreal finish, lads. I mean, in the Brazilian tournament, there were some turnarounds. There were some comebacks that were pretty close, but it always resorted to something like, the runner A failed. He got wrecked by set of third, and the other runner caught up. But this was a photographic finish.
Yeah.
We
and
in
GG for
the
both runners, right?
tournaments. Yes,
Just for GG to both runners, Knits and Nexin, for doing this absolutely lovely showcase. Both runners it was toe to toe for most of the time, and GG, well played for all.
Very, very good run for both runners. We have some duels in the tournament that were almost like that, but nothing like this. They were like one battle when Knits was on the Nightmare. Supposedly Nexin was on the Dark Knight. Okay, one battle ahead. It's okay. You can see the difference. But like this was. We didn't have this before, so GG, it was very, very nice to see.
It was a pretty competitive race for sure, and if you guys want to check the tournament, the VODs, and see what we were talking about, I mean, it's in Portuguese, but if you guys are trying to either learn Yu-Gi-Oh! Or either learn Portuguese, go check it out. Speedruns Brazil, we're doing this lovely tournament. We are nearing the end of it. There will be the grand final next week. So if you guys have any interest on it, just, drop by, say hi, and cast your cheers, your votes, for who's gonna take the title of God of Egypt, which is the name of the tournament. And I think that's it. What do we do now? I feel a void in my soul right now. Like after this finish.
I think we can have such an interview with Nexin and Knits here. Could we possibly have this?
Yeah, I don't know how we are in regards to time, allotted time for us, but sure, that's pretty fine. Are the runners here? I think. Yeah. Next thing, are you comfortable doing with this interview in English, or would you rather me talking in Portuguese and we translate the answers?
Okay, I can try to speak English.
Okay, that's pretty great.
So,
we didn't have the trackers to check out, how you guys fared at the beginning. Can you tell about your start? How it was?
Okay.
Just recall the Geki, for instance.
Yeah. I started with two dragons, and I didn't do the DMK. So I did DMK after my Valentine because I forgot because I just forgot this and got 3 thunders on this farm. So just go ahead. And my early game, was so nice because I got about 5 dragons and 5 thunders, but no traps, and that's it.
Okay, that's pretty lovely. Okay, let's talk about the final moments of this run. I don't know if you had some way to watch how Knits was faring or not, but it was down to centimeters. I would say not milliseconds, but it was a photographic finish. Both you guys were synced, and Knits was having some rough start in the Nightmare, and it was really, really close that Kanits got it. How do you feel about the ending of the race?
My heart's beating so hard here, and the stream had some delay. So when I finished my run, I watched the Ropka needs and about 10 seconds of difference. I think that
Lucky.
I lost because I lost one attack. So
Yeah, that was
big
that
tech.
was. What do you think was the cause of it? Was it fusions? Was it? What do you
Trap.
recall? It was.
Trap.
Oh, it was a trap card. Okay, because you know there's.
Pegasus play fatter and I lost a trap. So
Oh, that's unfortunate. I thought it was, the fabled 13 fusions, 14 fusions, or such. Those
no, just a trap.
It's okay. It's okay. So yeah.
After the MBD, I farmed two times, and maybe it's the difference these farms, and I reap on final 6. So I lost so much time, about 10 minutes, my misplace. So that's very good. 10 seconds of difference. GG Kanits. That was my greatest run ever made. So I hope you guys enjoyed this race. And
how do you like to say it? The way you like to say it, that was definitely one of the races that happened.
That's definitely
ever,
one
right?
of the race.
That's definitely one of the races ever.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is a game. Definitely is a game.
Definitely is a game, and I believe Kanits can't talk, unfortunately. To do the interview, but I think that's pretty okay. Congratulations on the race. It was a really competitive match. It was really enjoyable to watch. We could talk a lot about the game, and GG Nexine, GG Kanits, both of the runners. Kanits for winning this really, really tight race, and I have to thank my co-casters here, Felvenga and Azura, for showing up and helping the commentary, bringing all sorts of knowledge. I am the, how do I say, not the most mature. I just started running this game from I don't know 2 to 3 months from 3 months ago. Both of them I think are in more time in this than am I. I'm originally a Wild Guns runner, but Yu-Gi-Oh caught my heart, and here I am. So GG, do you guys have anything to say?
Thanks so much also Vash and Azura and Extending Kanits for playing the race. Thanks so much. And also thank you for GDK for having us here tonight. That was really fun.
Thanks for the invite. By the way,
Yeah.
sorry.
And thanks so much on chat who watched the race with us. I hope you guys like it. That's it.
And that's it, I think. Azura?
Thank you, Felhanger and Vash, for co-caster with me. It was very fun. Thank you for the race. Nexine Kanits was very, very good to watch. It's always good to commentate the run. I love it. And thank you, Games on Quick, for the invite. I appreciate. It was very, very, very nice to be here. And thanks everyone from chat and the viewers for watching this. I hope you enjoyed the Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories 50 cards drop speedrun. And I hope you watch the next runs that will be occurring.
Don't forget to follow the runners. Don't forget to follow the runners. They were amazing. Basically.
I just want to thank you, all the chat. That's chat, the casters. Thank you, Kanits, for this run, and I hope you guys appreciated this. And thank you, Games Done Quick. It's a dream to be here, so I'm very happy. And that is it. Thank you all, guys.
Thanks for Richard for the tech, and Church and Sarge for opening this hotfix for us today, for introducing.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for, commentating and running today. It was an excellent race, fantastic commentary. It was an entertaining, 2.5 hours about. So big shout outs to the runners and the commentary here. Y'all did a great job. Like they were saying, though, this is the end for this. We do have another show coming up at the top of the hour, Speedruns from the Crypt, so be sure to stick around for that. With that being said, have a great night, everybody.
Night.
Good night. Good night.